Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing something different. Obviously I don't have makeup at the beginning, but I am going to be showing you guys how to do my foundation routine. So first I'm going to be going into my luxury moisturizer. This is by Kenia Beauty. I will leave it down below. I love this thing. I am very oily, so something that's very like illuminating doesn't work on me, but this moisturizer somehow does work on me because it's very illuminating, but I like the way it sits on my skin, and I do have very textured skin because I am a guy, so I like the way this sits on my skin. So it looks like a little injection tube, so you just squish it out and put it all over your skin, and I'm going to be blending this into my skin with my hands. Just make sure you do wash your hands. You don't want to be blending things or applying things to your skin with dirty hands, because you do want to prevent acne or any other nasty things that will absorb to your skin. And you do want to blend this softly into your skin. You don't want to tug on your skin so much, because obviously you want to prevent wrinkles as well. Then I'm going to be hydrating my under eye area. As you guys could tell, I do have very pronounced under eye bags, and I do have some discoloration. So hydrating the area helps a lot. I do have very dry under eye areas, so I'm just going to be applying it with my finger, my ring finger, and then just smoothly blending it outwards. You don't want to tug under your eye area, because that skin is very sensitive, and obviously you don't want wrinkles, or you don't want no sagging when you're young, obviously. So you do want to prevent all that. And I will be applying a little bit on my lid, because I am 25, guys. You have to start really good skincare. And to stop my oils, because I am an oily bitch, I'm gonna be applying this to the center of my face only. So it's just gonna be a little bit on my forehead, and a little bit on my cheeks, and a little bit on my chin and my nose. This is the Neutrogena Shine Control primer. I do like it. It's not the best. I do recommend the Benefit Professional better. I feel like it works a little bit better, but this is what I have now. And I do like to just finish my products before I buy new ones, just because that's me. I don't like to be having like tons of products in my makeup collection, so I do like to finish something before I buy something new. So that's something you guys learned about me. So I'm just going to be blending this again with my fingers. For foundation, I'm going to be using my favorite at the moment. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. I am going to be wearing two shades, Desert Beige and Cream Beige, I believe. I will leave it down below. And I'm going to be applying this all over my skin first, using a Real Techniques foundation brush. I'm not blending the foundation into my skin. I'm just pretty much applying it to all my face with this brush, just because I like the way it's faster and it's easier. And I do have like a bigger, fatter face, because I am a thick girl and I am a guy, so I do tend to have a little bit more room than actual girls. So I'm just gonna be applying this all over my face with this brush by Real Techniques. Obviously all the products will be down below if you guys are interested. Then I'm going to be grabbing a damp beauty sponge. This is my favorite at the moment. This is by Kenia Beauty. It's just called a beauty sponge. And I did damp it with a little bit of warm water, and I squished it all just to make sure all the water was out of it. You don't want a like soaking sponge. You do want it just like damp. And I'm just going to be pressing the entire foundation to my skin, and doing this will erase the little brush marks the brush does leave, and it will absorb the excess foundation your skin doesn't need. And then going into concealer, I'm going to be using these two concealers by Kenia Beauty. These are full coverage concealers. I do mix two just because one is a little bit more like warm and the other one's more like cool tone, and mixing both of them just gives me my perfect shade. I will link them down below. These are full coverage concealers, but they very are hydrating. You do want to set them if you are oily like me, because they will run. They will like smear all over your face. So you do have to set them. If you are looking for that extra dewy look, then obviously you don't have to set it. But if you are oily, make sure you do set it. So I'm just going to be applying it all over where I highlight my skin. I don't apply it directly to my forehead just because I don't want a lot of product on my forehead, just because it starts looking cakey. So whatever is left over after blending my under eye and my nose and my chin area, I do go on my forehead a little bit. And I'm using a small synthetic brush. This is by Morphe. Again, I will leave the brushes down below if you guys are interested. Then I'm going to be grabbing that same beauty sponge and just blending it into my foundation, just so you won't have those two lines of demarcation, that you do have two colors of foundation and concealer. Then to set my under eye area, I am going to be using this CoverGirl Loose Translucent Powder in the number 115. These powders do say they are translucent, but they are not. They do have different shades. They have fair, medium, and dark. I do use the medium one, which is the 115. So what I'm going to be doing is blending out the concealer on my fine lines and going directly into the translucent powder and setting it first, just so I won't set those fine lines and wrinkles. And then I will be going into my other eye and I will be blending it out as well, just because this prevents the creasing, and just again because this is a very hydrating concealer, it does tend to crease under my eye area. And I do recommend to set this concealer if you are really oily like me. And to apply the powder, I'm just using a sponge, a wedge. They're reusable, so you can wash them because they are like fabric type. So I'm just applying a lot of powder just because I do want to prevent my face to looking oily during the day. Again, this is the way I do it. You don't have to do it exactly like me. You could just take tips. Then I'm going to be setting my foundation, and I'm using this LA Girl Pro HD powder in a shade Soft Honey, and I'm going to be applying it using a big Real Techniques brush. This is by, I already said it, it's by Real Techniques. It's just their big powder brush, and I'm just going to be grabbing the powder out. You just want to press the powder into your skin first and then swipe it all over, because if you just go in and swiping the powder all over your face, you might disturb your foundation and you can lift your foundation, and you don't want those patches to come out. So I do suggest to pat your powder in first and then distribute it all over the skin, because again, you don't want to disturb your foundation. My foundation does tend to like lift while I'm putting powder, so I do recommend just to packing it on first and then smoothing it all over the skin. Then I'm going to be using the same type of powder for my bronzer, just because I do find bronzers not to last as long on me. My skin does absorb like a lot of the powder, so I do like using thicker and more smoother and blendable powders, because a lot of contour powders do tend to be patchy, and I don't like that look. So I'm using the same LA Girl Pro HD powder in the shade Warm Caramel. I think it's like their second to darkest shade, and this is what I use to bronze. And I'm using an angled brush by my makeup brush set. I will link it down below. And to add a little bit more depth to my cheekbones, because I do have a fatter face and I do tend to lose my cheekbones with my fatness, so I do like to add a little bit more depth to them. So I'm using my Kat Von D Shade Light Contour Palette that is pretty much beat up already, and I'm using two darker shades that I just put in at and I'm using this Morphe brush that I love so much just to contour. I don't use this to bronze just because it's too big and it just makes my bronzer look patchy. So I do use it just to contour the hollows of my cheeks, and I'm just going to be applying it a little bit to the hollows and blending it into the bronzer. Then I'm going to be going into my Coty Airspun. I only use this for my Coty Airspun just because Coty Airspun does tend to dry out my skin a lot. I do still love it, but I just use it to clean up my contour and make that contour look a little bit more sharp and more pronounced, just because again I don't have cheekbones. Then I'm going to be removing all the powder under my eye area, and I'm using this pointed brush by Morphe. Again, all the brushes will be down below. And when you do use powder under your eye, it tends to leave like a white cast, like an ashy tone cast, and obviously that does flash back in photography. So I'm going to be going into this Kat Von D Shade Light Contour Palette, and I'm going to be grabbing the middle banana shade, and I'm going to be applying this all over my under eye area just to brighten up that area and just to make it look a little bit more smoother and remove all that ashy white tone that the translucent powder does leave under your area. And just because when you do bake your under eye area and it's very dry, it does tend to look very cakey, but this powder is very well milled and I love the way it sits on my skin and doesn't make me look cakey, and once I set my skin will look amazing. Into my favorite part of doing my face routine is highlighting my skin, just because this brings life back to my skin, because I do use a lot of powder and it just gives me the dewy look that I like, but not looking like overly oily. So I'm just going to be applying it directly into my cheekbones, just the top of my cheekbones. I don't drag it down as much because I do have very large pores and I do want to emphasize them. So I'm just going to be applying it to the tops of my cheekbones, and I do apply a little bit on my forehead. And I'm using the Wet n Wild highlighter in Precious Petals, and I'm using the Morphe brush in the number M501. I will leave it down below for you guys. And I'm just going to be blending this into my skin just until it looks very smooth and well. Then the last part will be setting my entire face. I do love this Vitamin Mist by Kenia Beauty. It's amazing. It does absorb all the powder that my face have, so my skin looks more like skin instead of just looking overly done and cakey. So I'm just going to be spraying this all over my face, and then I'm going to be grabbing that damp beauty sponge and pressing the spray into my skin just so it could dry a little bit faster, and this makes it look a little bit more amazing. Well guys, this is the end of my foundation routine. I just finished my face just for the sake of the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this amazing face routine. You guys have been asking for a long time, so here it is. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and leave me comments down below on what videos would you like to see next. Also, all the products used and mentioned will be down in my description box. Also, it's on my social media, so you guys can follow me there. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.
Through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun.